Welcome back, guys. Put this in the ether. You know what? Women like toxic men, right? I think women they subconsciously like toxic men. Why would they be keep going out with all these toxic men if they don't really like it, right? They love toxic men. They love toxic characteristic. They might say that they hate toxic men, toxic masculinity, but the thing is, the majority of women really dig this kind of thing, right? You've already seen their behavior. Like I said all the time, right? You judge a woman by not what she said. You judge a woman by their actions, right? And what their actions are. They keep going for all these toxic men. They love toxic behavior, right? They look. They complain a lot. They complain a lot about, oh, why can't guys just tell the truth? Why can't guys just do all these stuff, right? The thing is, they don't really mean what they say. Like I said all the time, you always listen to when a woman says something, it's the completely opposite of what it is. Women is the complete inverse, right? They love toxic men. Subconsciously they do. Right? They might say, oh, it's toxic men all this, and toxic men all that, this, that, and that, and the third, right? But in actuality, their action speaks for itself. Right? I'm not saying this because I'm not saying it because for the sake of saying it. I'm saying it because what I'm saying is totally contradictory for what they're saying. Why do you think all the jerks, all the men out there, all the Chet and Tyrone actually get the most of these women, right? This toxic masculinity. They might say they hate it, but in actuality they love it. They gravitate towards this shit, right? They don't really mean what they say, right? They're an inverse of everything. A woman might say all these, that, and third, right? But her action don't prove it. Right? They might say that they hate a guy that they like, oh, why do you have to lie? Why he can't say the truth? Why can't he do this, that, and third? Because you are buying into this crap. Right? Most women out there, they love to be lied to. Right? They love lying. Even women does that to themselves as well. Even women that lie to another woman, they love to hear that kind of thing over and over. This is what Chad and Tyrone gets. This is what pickup artists gets, right? They understand this kind of crap. They understand that women gravitate to these negativity things. They gravitate to the Why do you think that most of the guys who's breeding with all these women are usually toxic men? And most of these 304s are usually gravitate to these toxic men. Why do you think a lot of abusive relationship women cannot relinquish this abusive relationship with all these toxic men? Why do you think that? Because they gravitate to that kind of crap, right? Right? So I guess in order for you as a man, as a beta male simp, because in order for you to win up that, you have to be toxic as well. Why do you think all these men that gets all these women, they show kind of a toxic tendency, right? Because they eat it up. This video might be controversy, right? But most of the women out there, they really dig toxic men. They love all these toxic behavior, this toxic attribute in the men. They love being lied to. They love being mistreated. They love what? Being what? I don't want to say this word because I might get banned on YouTube. They love being abusive sometimes, all right? I mean, I'm not saying all of them, right? But the majority of these women, majority of 304s, majority of these OnlyFans thoughts out there, they really gravitate to these toxic men. These toxic men, what do they exuberate, right? They exuberate testosterone. They exuberate masculinity. And they exuberate all this stuff, right? I'm not saying men are toxic by nature. We're not. It's just the thing is that women are gravitate to this kind of characteristic. That's what they want. And men, in order for them to get these women that they want, they have to exhibit these characteristics, right? When actuality, men are just men. They can just chill and be normal people without being toxic, right? It's just the problem is the women that claim that they don't want toxic men, they really do want toxic men, right? They really do. Subconsciously, they do. Because something about toxicity, right? It exhibits dominant trait. That's what it is. A toxic person, they have this dominant aura in them, right? That they have confidence, that they have leadership, that they have ability to talk to people. They don't care, right? This is why a lot of narcissistic people, they have confidence in themselves, right? This is why a lot of women gravitate to a narcissistic guy a lot, right? You see this all the time. They say, "Oh, I don't like a guy who's narcissistic," but why do you still gravitate towards them? Why do you still attracted towards them? You know why? Because you don't know what you want. Alright? Subconsciously, this is what you want because this exuberance all masculine traits. This is how you get a woman. This is the majority of all these masculine men, they exuberate some kind of toxicity in them. And unfortunately, this is what women want. This is what they demonstrated once. They might say they don't want it, but in actuality, subconsciously, they yearn for this stuff. They want this. Right? You could be the most feminine woman out there, right? Feminist woman out there, but you still gravitate to them, right? You know what they say, opposite attracts, right? What a feminist woman really want is a very dominant man. That's what they really want, right? They just haven't been getting that attention from the guy that they're exposed to. That's why a lot of simps out there are really, right? They're gonna get, when they're in a relationship with the simps always get demolished in a relationship. Always get dumped by the woman, right? Always get taken advantage of. You know who don't get taken advantage by a woman? The toxic men out there, the Chad and Tyrone. They don't get dominated by women, right? They don't let women supersedes them, right? They don't let women dominate over them. They don't let women take charge of their lives, right? When you let a woman take charge of your life, your 100% of your relationship will always be crushed. Your relationship will always diminish, right? And that's what women are complaining about the most, that their man is not manly enough. Their man is not dominant enough. I want a man that's very dominant, right? But unfortunately, the man that's very dominant, you claim them to be toxic, right? So a man has to take charge in their relationships, right? They have to take charge. I'm not saying abusive, right? They have to take charge of the relationship, lead in relationships, right? Be firm with their decisions, tell the woman what to do, right? Show some kind of dominant traits, right? That's what women really wants, a man to take charge and be men. Men have to be men, right? You cannot tell men to regress backwards. You cannot tell men to be more soft, because that's not what women wants. When a woman tell a man to be soft, right? She don't really want him. Next thing you know, she's gonna divorce him, break up with him, break his heart, and do all this kind of stuff. Right? You have to be dominant. Right? Why do you think a lot of toxic men get all the 304s that they want? Why do you think the bouncer get all the girls? Right? Why do you think all this stuff? They don't really mean what they want. That's why I'm telling guys, what women are saying is a complete inverse. Right? They might say that they didn't want a toxic man, but subconsciously, deep down inside, they really want a toxic man. Right? I'm not telling you to be a jerk, but yet again, put your feet down and say what you mean. Sometimes you just can't hold back what you gotta say. Sometimes just say it. Right? When you don't care what anybody thinks of you, it shows confidence. Right? Sometimes you just gotta say what you really mean, what you say. Who cares what they think? Right? It shows you have some kind of confidence in yourself. You don't give a crap about anybody. You don't give 2 cents about what anybody's opinions, and that's what most women find very attractive. A guy say what he means and don't care what anybody thinks. He don't hold back, right? It separates you from the rest. It separates you from the weak, right? And what they can do is gonna perceive as toxic traits, right? To put you down. When actuality out there, most women, they gravitate to these toxic men, these Chats and Tyrones, right? They're gonna say lifting weights is very toxic. In actuality, that's what they want. A guy who lifts weights, a strong person. Alright? That's why I'm telling guys out there, you have to go lift weights, get yourself better in shapes, right? And what are they gonna say? Oh, you're very toxic, but yeah, that's what they prefer. Right? So in actuality, I really think women subconsciously want toxic men. Right? They might not say it, but subconsciously they yearn for that kind of crap. They yearn to be, I don't want to tell you to mistreat women, right? But sometimes women gravitate to this kind of behavior. For some odd reason in their freaking head, They gravitate to be mistreated. Why I think most of the women out there are in abusive relationships, right? I'm not saying that they deserve to be in an abusive relationship, and I'm not advocating to be abusive. But for some reason they find it hard to relinquish those abusive relationships, right? You have to connect two dots together, right? But on that note, guys, that's why I think really subconsciously women want toxic men. They can't resist toxic men, right? I'm not saying men are toxic, but they can't resist toxic behavior. And you have to understand how women are. What they say one thing is usually mean another thing. But yet again, you have to guard yourself. Just because they want another thing besides what they're saying, don't do proceed with caution, right? Don't do things so stupidly and so blindly, right? You gotta protect yourself as well, right? Just because they don't want toxic men, that doesn't mean that you're supposed to be toxic in front of them, or it doesn't mean that you pursue something, right? Know when to read between the line, but my best thing is don't act on nothing, right? Don't show them any attentions. All right, they may seem that they don't want toxic men, but in actuality, subconsciously they want it. But just because subconsciously they want it, you should not pursue it. All right, just guard yourself, just protect yourself as much as possible. On that note, guys, as always, right? Let me know what you think. You think women subconsciously want toxic men? That's why they always put themselves in this compromising position all the time, right? On that note, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comment below, right? If you like my channel, like my topic, if you want to support my channel, like, share, subscribe. On that note, guys, as always, peace and blessings.